modelers, welcome back to the Iron Leopard modeling channel. Today we're going to be doing some bolt action U.S. Army veteran squad in winter. It's 10 metal 28mm veteran GIs and winter gear. Look at that. It says mid-late war, so Bastogne. What else could you do them for? I guess just, those later years of the war when Germany was mainly on the back foot. Bolt Action is a 28mm World War II war game made by Warlord games. There's their website if you want to do them. They were made in Great Britain. Tells us all the stuff, US flag. On the back, we have a really nice painting guide. Tells you who they're painted by. They're not assembled, so we'll be doing that as well as painting them in this video. So they look really good, and I must say I have already opened the box. Can't keep waiting. But what I have done is I cleaned them off. You always want to use soapy water and a toothbrush. Really get all the pewter off, all that dust. That's what it's called, I'm pretty sure. And I've already cut out a base. It's on that. It's a nice Warlord game, but we'll look at everything. And yes, plastic was, or not plastic, but cardboard was included to keep everything safe, but I already removed that, as you can tell. So we'll just put the box aside. So we'll look at the stands first. Why not? Say at the bottom, what do they say? Let's focus in. Warlord Games, limited, copyright. Nothing really is special. On this side, I'll actually get this one out. It's raised edges, but it's a flat surface, so you could do Games Workshop, or texture paints. You could do Army Painter. You could add some snow. That's what I'll probably do, because this is my first time doing 28mm. I love doing the 1/72 scale, but I've been thinking that they're a little too small for the amount of detail I want to get in, so still going to be doing 1/72 scale, like I said in my channel update video, but we're going to be trying out 28mm. I mean, I've done it before, painted some elves and men for Lord of the Rings, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, so the stands are good. That's nice. You get 10 of them, 10 figures, 5/5. It almost looks like they've been cut for something else here. And then, yes, the box. So here's what we got. Yes, they've already been cleaned, and I made sure none of the guns were bent. So when you get this package, you're going to have to cut the little lip off here, and because it is 2 pieces of plastic packaging. You're just going to peel it off. So, yeah, nothing special there. Throw that away. And then 2 pieces of foam. It's good. It's a little bit rougher than, I would say, like the foam in the wet palette that we got recently. It's not bad. And you could probably even use it in the wet palette, or you might even be able to use it in some diorama building. It's not really that strong, but you understand what I mean. So here, let's look. Alright, well, this was first. So this are some of the heads, and as you can tell, when they're cleaned and ready, they do look great, especially the ones, scarves around them or yelling. For some reason, this guy's upside down. One of them fell off, so that's what that is. We'll get the other sprue of heads out. Some of them have goggles, the webbing around their helmets, like they would. But they do. They look really good, especially for metal. I wasn't expecting a whole lot of detail. But these are really good, especially for the first time I'm doing World War II 28mm. Probably do some Napoleonics and Hail Caesars as well. Wow, yeah. So here's 10 guys, yep. Really good detail. Entrenching tools. Some of them are basic, they haven't gotten their full winter uniforms yet, which are good. Most of them have M1 Grands. I'm pretty sure it tells you on the back, yeah. So 1 NCO. With an SMG, and then 3 others with SMGs, which are Tommy guns. 2 soldiers with bar LMGs, and then 4 soldiers with rifles and carbines. They're only just M1 Grands. You wouldn't see, maybe for airborne, but these aren't airborne, so let's take a peek. So some of them, have flat clothing you'd see on basic US infantry, and others have clothing that you would see more for, the winter. So I really like this guy especially. Bayonet on the M1 Grand. Nice details. Got the wiring and the pouches on the side and the entrenching tool. Looks like he's loading, and there's where the head goes, nice and smooth. Really smooth, file down any details you don't like. Metal's really easy to bend if you need to. Don't drop them. I made the mistake of dropping this guy, and the little tip of his Tommy gun broke off, so I'm gonna have to, I caught it in a box, so that's good. What else is in here? This is the helmet that fell off the sprue. Can I get it in focus? Probably not. There we go. Nice details on that, really good. I probably wouldn't paint eyes or anything. Definitely not. Now, when I first opened this is who I thought would be the NCO. Looking really good, really fine. Nice webbing, nice pouches, grenades on them. Just doing really good. And they do look really good. I can't wait to paint them up. Especially, I got some new paints from the Army painter. This guy, how is he doing? He's just holding the Tommy gun. So let's look at the poses before we get into it. What's in here? And just that piece of the Tommy gun. So here's our first bar LMG guy. He's in a firing stance, looking really good. Not a whole lot of equipment on him, but a decent amount. Especially here with all the pouches. So there's the one bar. This is the second bar. He's in a full gear, especially his backpack. You got the entrenching tool, which would actually have been on top of the backpack if they had it. That's good. Nice winter coat, and then you can see the coat on the inside there. He is, if you can tell, there's the bar LMG, and he is actually putting another mag into it. So these two probably will go really good together. This guy's probably reloading, and the other guy is probably firing to cover him. That'll be good. So there's the two bars. And then let's look at our M1 Grands. Here is one. This guy's throwing a grenade. Has some extras on his pouches there. One right next to his chest. M1 Grand straps folded in. Canteen. Entrenching tool. Looks really good on this guy. Everything is good with his trousers. So there's our first one of those. Where's our second rifleman? Second one. Saw this guy already. Nice bayonet. Good pouches. They're really good. Especially for putty molds. Or not putty, pewter. My bad. This guy, he is firing his M1 Grand. As you can tell, though, I don't know necessarily if that's a good pose. If you stand him up on any flat surface, it almost looks like he's shooting down. So I guess it could work if you're on a hill, or, I mean, no war crimes allowed, but he might be shooting prisoners or enemies in a trench. You never know. World War II is bad, but models let us remember the history. Here's the other guy. Also thought he was an NCO. It almost looks like he has a shotgun because that M1 Grand is just kind of thick in the middle there, but it's not. Looks fine though. Looks good there. And then so that's our 4 riflemen. And here are our last LMG guys. So here is the first one, looking nice. This guy looks like he's running with his M1A1 Thompson. I think that's what it was. None of these have the drum mag, by the way. They all have the 20-25 round stick mags. Canteen, trenching tool, little bent. Could probably fix that before painting. No backpack, but he's good. And then you have this guy. This is probably what the officer is supposed to be, as he has a different coat on. His coat's wintry, and it has 2 pouches. Maybe could add a custom golden star somewhere. Grenade and trenching tool. You see, he doesn't have a whole lot on him, so he might be an officer as well. Thompson looking really good. He's more like cautiously walking, I'd say. And then finally, this Thompson guy. This is the one with the broken that we'll fix. But this guy also, he has a bigger pouch, almost like a radio pouch or something. And he's in a firing, I'd say hip firing position, so probably just entered a building or poked up behind his little barricade. And then this guy is aiming the same way, same kind of coat, but he's aiming down. Maybe he just finished reloading, or he could just be, on guard for that night. You never know. But yeah, they're all looking really good. I'm hoping you guys can see the detail. Yeah, so really good. You might have to shave some of the detail off. Sometimes they have little extra pewter pieces. I just used a file and some cutters and an X-Acto knife. Worked out really well. So what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to cut away, and we're going to kind of speed base them to their 25mm bases here. Let me see if I can do an example. You kind of, you'll want them right in the middle for this. And usually, you wouldn't want to base things before, but since they're like this, I would say base before so you can hold it in like a Citadel paint holder. So yeah, you're gonna want to use super glue as it's not plastic. But we'll just add all these guys to bases, and then we'll come back real quick and we'll give them all heads as well. I'll have to do a little test fitting to see what the heads are, and then we'll just go right into painting them as long as everything's good, and then we'll look at the after effect. I won't be doing the basing probably because I do not have materials for basing right now, so I'll have to come back and base them later, but that's okay. Just a nice gray primer will do. And actually, when we do base them, I will be using, or not base, but prime them, I will be using this new stuff from the Army Painter that's brush on primer. Found it. My airbrush, I don't have an airbrush yet, but this should work really well. Nice coverage. But yeah, get our Instacure super glue, and we'll start gluing these to the bases. See you guys on the other side. So, welcome back. We have cleaned the bases up, cut them out. We have glued the miniatures on, given them a couple minutes to dry, not a whole lot, but I just wanted to give you guys some tips. You might have seen me in there. If you ever have too much glue, you want to use a little bit of paper towel, cotton ball, well, not a cotton ball, cotton swab, and you just want to wipe it away. Clear. You don't want, that building up on the sides. So that's tip number one I saw. Sometimes you do want to use the glue generously. You don't want them, falling off at all. And I mean, the bases look good. They look clean. And I think the guys look really well. Don't worry if they're not centered. That doesn't really matter. I'm sure they'll be fine. But yeah, they're looking really good in my opinion. So we're going to let them dry a couple more minutes. And then we're going to add some heads to these guys so they can actually fight and not look like the Headless Horseman. So we'll be right back. So, welcome back, everyone. We just quickly glued the heads on, and if I had any tips for everyone, it would just be you always want to test fit these. As I put on different heads than the box put on, you want to test fit, make sure it's a good fit, and also, one that you enjoy, if I can find one. The one guy with the bar LMG I thought should have the goggles, so I really like that, and it fit perfectly, so yep. So the fit's good. You want to be fairly generous with the glue, and if there's any extra, just wipe it up. Small little thing of paper towel, toilet paper, anything like that. And yeah, so this is this. This is just going to be a quick review on them, and then we'll paint them in another episode. But overall, I'd say for 10 metal figures, they're really nicely detailed. And again, good heads. I think the heads look really good on some of them, especially on the ones with coats. I'd say it's just gonna look great, honestly. Let's look at the bar LMG guy who's firing. The only pose that I think is probably my least favorite is probably this guy. He has a very small head hole, so it was kind of rough to fit any head in there. This one looks good though, and his weapon's almost like he's firing down, which is a little weird, as we talked about earlier. But everybody else looking mighty fine. So, this has been Bolt Action's U.S. Army Veteran Squad in winter gear, and we will be painting them real soon. Have a great day, and we will see you in the next episode.